And we are in record. How awesome is that?
Awesome.
Now that I've had my potato chip, it is 10:59, the beginning of Group 1, and today is all about superpowers. Now, what does superpowers mean, Tracy?
Well, it can mean all sorts for me. Superpowers that you can have that
drive
and that drive and get that extra oomph and get the job done.
Would it mean with the post that you were reading, you know, people speak about frequencies. People actually don't know what a frequency is. What's a frequency to you?
No. To me, I know what it is, but trying to put it in words, I struggle.
Okay, so try and pop it into a word for me, or just a few sentences.
So for a frequency for me is I really I mean, I'm kind of stepping back, me going back 10 years ago, when someone said frequency, I'd go, ah! I used to do that, but now I know what it is, but I struggle a lot to try and grasp the words, and I can go out into a paddock and I can talk about it, but when I'm at home sitting here in this class, I sort of go, okay, blank.
Okay, so imagine you being in that paddock and then you're one with the animals, the land, the birds, the insects, your children, and yourself. What would that feel like?
I feel the tingling sensation and the energy, and then my ears will start ringing sometimes, or I'll hear something. I just know.
So where do you vibrate from? Do you vibrate out to in or in to out?
Out to in.
Now, see, this is a good topic that we're onto today. So you go out from outwards. So it comes from outwards towards inwards. Is that correct?
Yep. And then I pulsate from inwards to out. Is that do you understand that?
Yeah, I understand that.
I just do it, and I just walk the land, and I
Hey guys.
just feel it.
G'day, sweetheart. Hi. Okay, we were just talking about what frequency means to each other. I've actually started recording, Amber. We're only going to be small today, and it's a really good topic. The topic today is about superpowers. So I asked Tracy the word frequency, the feeling, the vibration, all these words. Mm-hmm. So I've asked her, she couldn't express sitting here, but she could express being out on her land.
Yeah.
So I've asked her, like, for me, I'm tingling from my head to it's my indicator. Does that make sense? So when I know that I'm on that, because it's about superpowers, when I know that I'm on par, I listen to my nervous system.
Yeah.
And my nervous system is the one that tells me that I'm on that good feel moment, the frequency.
Yep, I have that too.
So it's that good feel moment. So Tracy, this is why this is a really super cool meeting today, is because you just said to me that it comes from outwards to inwards. But I want to flip it, because this is the superpower that you are, and you can change everything in a moment. and you can flip it and it can come from inwards to outwards. Does that make sense?
I can do that, and I can do that. I know I have done that, but then sometimes I don't know. It's just I go by my eyes and by my feel at that time, and I will flip it again back round.
You're a magician. You're a magician.
I flip it so that it's really hard. You know, you can be in a crowd. Like I'm going to be in a crowd this weekend, and I'm doing the Hope Walk. So I will be radiating out, but if I feel something, I will flip it.
Okay, so let's just for a moment here that you are. Remember, I put up on because we are defining your gifts, so to speak. So there is an energy healer and there's an energy reader. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So some of us are energy healers and some of us are energy readers, but we can be both at the same time. And when I receive and I give out, but then I give out and then receive at the same time. Does that make sense? So I just flip my hands around in any given moment that is needed for the grand purpose of the other person and pop myself over there. I'm getting to the point because I really want to tap into your superpowers. What ignites your mojo? What ignites your mojo? Amber, what ignites your mojo?
Inspiration that comes from within myself.
Good girl. Because it begins with us, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we're giving our power away to some sort of outside force. I'm trying to get you planted fully, solidly, where you could be still and there's nothing that's going to affect you. And so it's like that watercress in the stream where it's white. It's like that you're flowing, but you're still solid. So you're receiving and giving out and receiving at the same time for another human being. So over this last week, I've done a lot of study because I love studying in my garden. Just get my mojo from being in the garden. I'm one with all. And I spoke about what is happening out there in this world. We are in this world, but we're not of it. But we are in this world for one specific reason, and that is foremost us to stabilize ourselves and be at grace, at rest, with things around you. And I also put a post up how your family life is like. Is it tormented? Is it in turmoil? Is it things happening in your family, in your extended family, in your friends? Is everything happening around? See, I'm buzzing now because I know I'm on the right topic. Is things happening to you from projections, from nonsense? That's what I want to buy that word nonsense on Google. Nonsense, because if I want to get to you guys to the point where you can just be nothing but everything at the same time. I put it in the eye of all and just being your gorgeous selves. In that place, you are everything. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You are everything. And we haven't told that enough to each other, that we are everything, that we have got everything at our fingertips. So the frequency, how often, Tracy, do you ask for it? See, I'm smashing barriers here because We are a product of 6, 7, 10 generations. So we are carrying within ourselves so much DNA in cellular memory and things will make us feel a little bit spin-offish. You know what I'm getting at. And it's like, oh, I'll just share with you. It's like I dug up, I've got 29 plots here that I'm trying to get in order. And yesterday I did so many, and it was like, oh my God, I started to remember that this is what I felt like, that I was my great-grandmother. So I had a memory. And then I just happened to look on the side of myself in the window frame, and I actually looked like her, like she was there, like I was her. And it's like everything that's here we inherited, and then I felt like that I was looking like Oma. And I started going, oh, hang on, where's me here? Because it's all about me. And then what I actually found, because I had that experience, I actually had to tell their thoughts, their patterns, their everything, just to leave me alone, because it's me that's here. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
This is my stuff. This is my garden. You can, tottle off. Now, I don't know where this is going, but I do know where it's going. It's going into our superpower. We have the superpower of dismissing things and accepting them. We have the superpower of, like I planted in my new garden, lettuces and bok choy and everything. Oh, spinach. And get a really ancient spinach. And guess what? The birds ate it. So I had this innate ability to use my superpower and just command it. No, you're going to leave the garden alone. Am I making sense?
Mm-hmm.
So when you said to me that you are in a mode of allowing things to happen, you don't know where you're going to be, you don't know what's going to happen, you actually have the superpower to command what your mojo desires. So you need to tap into that mojo-ness. Am I making sense?
Yep, and you just answered something for me, because you went back, if we go back to the DNA, where you said Oma and your grandmother, and you've just answered that question, because I just come to my head, Mum never accepted her gifts, her spirituality or anything. So I just went, ta-ting, hello mother, go away. This is me. Go.
I'm saying this is because there was a situation over this week where someone had committed suicide, and the family contacted me, so distraught. And I wait for the green light. Does that make sense? I don't interfere in something that really hasn't got anything to do with me. Like, there was a huge expectation of me. And I used my superpower to be able to say to them, actually, I'll get back to you, because it just doesn't switch on just like this.
No.
And I don't answer everybody straight away. I go away and think about it. And then I don't force the issue. I just go out and do something, and then I just simply wait. You wait. So anyway, she came back and she said that never mind. I'll contact their mana, their black people. And I thought, okay, and I wished her well. Good on you. But what happened was she still didn't get what she wanted. So you wish that person well. Then she came back and she said, I really need your help. And then as soon as I felt that frequency of honesty, not pleading, of respect, then in that moment, boom, magic happened. That superpower happened. I'll call it that superpower happened.
So that frequency, like where you're talking right now, is when I switch, because I know that they're not honest. And it just switches back out.
Yeah.
I don't radiate out from myself, from within to outwards. I do it the opposite way. I switch. I've tapped into that quite a bit now, but I sort of sat there and went, what the fuck am I doing? Excuse my language. But where am I? Why am I in this group? What the heck's going on? And I'm going to be in a group like that, that's going to be full of that. So I'll be switching myself back around. I do it quite regular.
So are you switching yourself off, or are you putting up boundaries?
I'm putting up boundaries and switching myself off. If I see eyes upon me, which I automatically know, because my friend just stands there and goes, you just did it again. And I went, what? She can pick up what I'm doing. And she goes, they're trying to get you. And I went, well, no, they can't touch me. And I automatically do it. I don't know what I'm doing.
What did I just say a few moments ago? You're in this world, but not of it. You should be able to, and the superpower means, superpower means that you become invisible without having to switch yourself off. That makes sense, doesn't it, Amber? You should be able to be standing in a group, and this is the conversation that I wanted to have with you all today. You should be able to stand in a conversation or in a situation and in groups where it's really, really volatile, and you're in it, but you're not of it, and yet you don't need to switch yourself off. You become invisible.
That's where I've got to build my confidence up.
Yeah, and you, yeah. And it's basically, what it means is taking ownership and power of you, your innate incredible beauty, and just stay there and remain without, and that's why I said about the relationships last week, where nothing can come at you. Or if the fear hits, or I call them the fear hits, and the hits come at you, you flick them off. Yeah.
So for me, my confidence has got to be in amongst other light workers, healers, energy workers, because that's where I do not feel confident, Amber, amongst them.
I can say is that I don't either. I mean, I still, because of my bad experiences, and they were pretty horrific.
Yeah.
And it takes a while to lick your wounds, so to speak. And then something came up about religion. Oh, church. Something came up. Oh, we had the Jehovah's Witnesses or the Mormons come to the gate. And they sent a woman to the gate, yet we've got the sign, beware of the dogs. And I watched the man. Now, I'm a seer. I see what is within another human being. And something ignited a remembrance of my history with Christianity, religion, Anglican, and all this other stuff. And I looked and I thought, oh my God, this is the world that we have to live within. So she came to the gate, and the dogs were actually inside, and I go, Nana, like nicely, Nana. And he stood there, and he became very volatile. But we're going to get that in it doesn't necessarily have to be Christianity. It doesn't need to be any types of religion, love and light, folks, whatever. It could be our next door neighbor. or it could be our lover, it could be their family, it could be everything. And we're all on a learning journey. But the deeper that you go is the deeper that you go is the deeper you will love more. Does that make sense? It's that yin and yang. So the harder you fall or the harder you experience something is the more superpower you have to transmute, transcend those energies. Now we've got all sorts of things happening out into this world. And I keep telling everybody, whose dreams are you dreaming? There's such a huge cleanse coming over. Everyone's becoming so angry. If you take a look at people, and they are suffering, we've got the measles outbreak, we've got this big thing happening there. Well, that's all a frequency of fear.
Scaremonger.
Yeah, but we can't jump into it. We can have our opinion, but our innate frequency can't go in there, so we are better off there. Now, the great thing is you can do more in there than shutting off from there. Does that make sense? Because you're all here as light bearers. I call them light bearers. I call us light bearers. So when I plant, it was the ash, putting ash around my plants, my garlic and everything. And I saw, because I'm a seer, we need fire in this world. Mother Earth knows what she's doing, because behind that, the superpower of the new trees and the seeds needs that potash to begin anew again. So I feel that we are in this amazing, awesome time, every single one of us. And there's so much abundance. But what I'm trying to get to everybody is the struggles and everything that we feel. And I too, it's only in 6 months' time that my husband's retired. I know that something magnificent is going to happen. Does that make sense? But the influences and the projections, like I watch the news about those measles, and now they're saying that they're going to, like, people who are on a benefit and people who do not vaccinate their children will be heavily done for.
Me.
Now, my children, all my children have never been vaccinated. And they are the most healthiest kids.
So Sarah was supposed to have had my middle child was supposed to have a vaccination, but they changed that vaccination this year to diphtheria, whooping cough, and mumps.
Well, you're damned if you do, if you're damned if you don't. But what happens is, now this is where the superpower comes in again. Do thy believe the power that you are? Amber, do you believe that you can take something so sinister and just with your without innate ability and your superpower transform something into beauty? So say I've got
yes, I feel like I can transform anything into beauty, but with what you just said before, do I believe what their power or whatever is in, and I had kind of a no, like I do, but I don't.
You're on the cusp. Okay, so say there was a outbreak of something in our water, and we were told not to drink the water. Well, we've already had it here. We had it here about a year ago, and the dogs got violently ill. So what I did was, okay, so there is something in the water that's making the dog's gut bleed. I can revive it. I can change it. I can take a big cup of water, because remember, one cell healed, that ripple effect, that one drop healed will heal everything else within a system, within a body, anything that's got cells in it.
Is that like kind of how homeopathy works?
Yep. That one minute healed cell will send off a tsunami of healing over everything and anything. That's how powerful you are. But it's do thou believe? Do thou believe? Do you believe that you have that superpower of creating anything, the word, that drive?
I fully believe that I have that, but I have some sort of confusion in me. I don't know how to fully get my energy.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
physically, I don't know that connection.
Okay, so that's an old belief system that could possibly have been passed down in your lineage.
Yeah.
Because we have all been shaped into saying that we are nothing. From, I'll bring in, I did another study there before. Christianity told us that we are nothing. There's a lot of religious groupies out there that we are nothing. There's a lot of policies and procedures to say that we are nothing. Because everything is out there. In other words, we are these little muppets and puppets sitting on planet Earth because we're always looking for a greater power than ourselves. And I want you guys to realize that you've got that amazing, incredible power, that it actually begins with you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So I put up, and I think it all comes down to today is tapping into your superpower and just being aware of that sensation, of that feeling. Because the last posting I put up on the group, we're all at different stages. Some are there, some are reaching out there, some are on the cusp of something magnificent, and that's what I see in all of you. And if we can learn to understand the ability of actually who we are, and it all comes back down to breaking those old ties. Like I remember, I remember waking up from my coma and then 2 years in hospital, and the words that were spoken over me, from religion to towns to accusations to people's gossip to everything, my father kind of kept me away from it all. And then realizing that and gave me that space to heal, like that one-on-one, whoever I was talking with, Gary. But I still came out with this total embarrassment. And Tracy, you still know I've got that embarrassment. It has to do with my face, because it was only 10 years ago, it was my last surgery, to have my face reconstructed. But I'll still see myself in the mirror and feel ugly. Does that make sense? Because so I have to take responsibility. And it does come up. The more it keeps coming up, I realize that there's something else that hooked themselves into me. And the dream state the other day, I want you to take note, like carry that book around with you. That dream state the other day, and I was amongst goals, whatever you want to call them. They're just not human. And I was walking amongst them, and they were coming out of the floorboards, they were coming out of the ground and everything. We are not alone.
No.
And they were coming out and I'm going, oh, not again. You know, does this belong to me? Why am I dreaming these dreams? And then the flashy faces, like I mentioned last week, because of the energies that are getting into the quickening around that everyone is speaking about, it's up to me to clear it. Because I have that gift to be able to clear it, just the same as the family over the last few days. Am I making sense? And it's having that discernment. So what I do, Amber, is that I cut all cords and ties. But I allow myself to have, just for 16 seconds, any longer, I'm in the shit. 16 seconds, I stay on it in my head. Otherwise, it starts sticking to you. And I cut all cords and ties, be gone. I'm this an awesome person. I can become, be, do, and have anything that I so desire. And it's that constant, because the more you cut, more will come out. And there's layer after layer. 6 generations, oh, great, you know, go away. You know, this is your stuff. This ain't my stuff.
So what you just said then in your dream state, so like I'm awake now, and if I go somewhere,
We'll do, yeah.
Say like outside countdown or something like that, okay?
Yeah.
I always have my head down or whatever, but then I'll come to a stop, and I have done it at a particular place where I had seen things coming out of the ground.
Yeah, that's true.
I stood there and I just went, and I had to do a spin around and look again, and the kids were looking at me going, deal with it. I sort of looked at them and went, no, I can't. And I kept on going. But everywhere I was walking in this particular place, they kept popping up. In the end, I had to deal with it because it was just around me. It was just like...
Yeah, but when those things come up, it's because they need to be dealt with.
So for me, what I'm trying to say is I have this thing where I'm standing there going, do I, don't I? I have a little battle in my head. I know I should be doing it, but then this little battle goes, nah. And then I'm going, oh, I'm to discern, and I'm having. Do you get what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
What I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I do. I do understand that. Many of us have been there right at the very beginning. So I'm going to share something really quirky for you today. I decided to get my good shoes on to the supermarket. I love my good shoes. I put them on. I purposely put them on with my crazy socks and my my jeans, knowing full well what I'm going to be experiencing, because I feel good in them, and it makes you feel confident. Does that make sense? So try and find something that ignites your mojo. Try and find something that brings you confidence within yourself, because all it is having the confidence of knowing that you cannot make a mistake. Why is everybody scared of making a mistake?
I think for me, in the past, I've been told I've always made a mistake.
Okay, cool.
That's it. It's like with you, I've been burnt as well, you know that, and hoodwinked. And because of all of those things that have been implanted in my head, I'm scared of making a mistake, stepping on someone else's shoes.
Okay, can I just say something that my old teachers used to say to me? Because that's exactly what I used to say. Can you not laugh at yourself?
In the paddock, yes.
There you go. I mean, that's really good therapy. Can you not laugh at your mistakes? Okay, So how I got over the ugliness and how I felt, because, you know, this was a woman that had long blonde hair and she was a hippie and gorgeousness to die for. And then ended up, you know, big scars and face had dropped and ugliness and all the rest. It was only 6 years ago that my Dr. Nicky Hammett, because I was working with him, he said, you know, can I ask you a question? Why don't you look at people? All people want to see is your eyes, because I've got these dark green eyes, Amber. They only want to have a look at your eyes, and by them looking at your eyes, they're going to melt and know that everything's okay. Why do you always keep turning your head? Now, the reason why I kept turning my head is because the left side was drooping. And I was going like this and I was going like that. And he goes, well, I'm going to tell you something. So, and feeling abandonment, it was that word abandonment. What he said was, just take a moment. Now put yourself in their shoes. Like when you were in hospital, when it first came upon you, that maliciousness. He said, well, you did look stupid, laying there with tubes out of your head, tied down with screwed down, and you did look absolutely stupid for a long time. So it was like a wake-up call for me.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my God, I did. I looked absolutely ridiculous. And then I had this fighting, having to, what's it called? Prove to everybody that I was not mental. And then I found that I had to defend myself because, you know, it's that constant on what people portray and project over you. And then they wanted to give me medication, antidepressants and antipsychotic and everything because I had a brain injury. Oh, and I was having myoclonic seizures. And I looked at it and I thought, I've been doing well from now on. Why do I have to take that? But I was forced to take it because I wasn't allowed out of the brain injury unit, the jail, if I didn't. Or I wasn't allowed to go home if I didn't learn to make a cup of coffee. So you have this world who has taken control over your life, family, friends, communities, spiritual people. And what happens is that you start to hide yourself away.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is you're hiding your superpowers away. You're hiding your beauty away from everybody else because of other people's thoughts and because of other people's projections. So when you hide your superpowers away, your ugliness and what you're feeling away, you're actually doing the world a disservice. Because if there's ever a time where we need human, it's right now, because of the stuff that's happening all around us in our homes and everything. And that's what and that laughter. So then someone else, one of my other mentors, why do I get 90-year-olds as my mentors? Because I can. So they started seeing me mass heal on a large scale. And these masters would turn up with a book. And I'm only giving over to you guys what I've been given. Like I'm paying it forward. And the one thing that I was taught out of all of it, out of absolutely all of it, was I can look at everybody and look what everybody's saying, doing, being, and fooling around with, and realize it's none of my business. It has nothing to do with me. And that was the only safety net that was imparted over me, that I managed to go about 50,000 times when something else happened. None of my business. It's got nothing to do with me. None of my business. It's got nothing to do with me. none of my business, it's got nothing to do with me. Oh, holy shit, here comes another hit.
Mm.
And I always say the ones that are going to do really good in this world, and I know who they are, will get hammered, because that's law of physics. You are being seen because you are being seen. So everybody's internal problems start, let's stop her. Well, Tracy knows. Tracy experienced these hits on me. Let's stop Heather. Let's stop Heather. Let's take her down. And the more I rose is the more the battle began. But that's just normal. That's just a metaphysical. It's nothing woo-woo or spiritual or anything. And sometimes I would sleep 3 days at a time because it was so severe. And I go, oh God, okay, rise again. And so you're rising again. And next minute, that frequency or that superpower, you felt that you were 50 feet tall.
So
And I call it initiation. You have to be initiated. And this is where you guys are at. You're being initiated.
that superpower kicks in. Just
That superpower kicks in, and honestly, when that superpower kicks in and it comes from within, without, you will fry people.
Yeah, I have been doing this of late because no
one can stand next to me because they'll end up on the other side of the room, and that is the superpower. Remember one of the live events, someone came behind me and put their hand on me, and boom, next minute they were flat on their back.
They're going to fly.
They're flying back into the gutter. Because you're in that superpower that you can, when I say where you can, you're not doing anything special.
No.
You're just being you, your gorgeousness. You're just being simply you, and go, yeah, okay.
So, could it be that when you've been pushed to your limit, how do I explain? Let's say, for example, this week I've had the SPCA on my doorstep again. I've had quite a bit of shit go down again, and I've had to really rise up and just stand there, and I've won this battle, but I'm like, it's for me, it's when I want to, is this a lesson for me to start learning to rise up?
It's not a lesson, it's showing you
that
it's showing you that you are more than that. Okay, so if things keep coming, if things keep breaking down, what is it that I'm not doing? I'm not being who I am. So if I'm having a problem with something, it's an internal battle. What it is that your gifts blow back on you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
And without being critical or judgmental towards what's going on around you and slapping the fence, but you can if you want to.
I have.
You look at it and think, why is the world against me? It's not the world that's against you. You're against yourself. Because, you haven't sent me your bio.
No.
Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Everything's crumbling within you because you're not expressing who you are. You're not saying what you're supposed to be saying. You're not, it's like it goes inwards where it should be going outwards. It just comes back at you. It just keeps bringing you down, and then something else will happen, and it's just showing you that you're not being who you are. It's just simply showing you that you're not. And then when you start becoming and being who you are again, that floodgate will happen, and you are there to assist another human being. It's pretty phenomenal. And that's the superpower that I want you guys to be. I know you are, and it's just trusting yourselves. You cannot make a mistake. There are no such thing as a mistake. Because every time you feel that there's a mistake, there's a gift within the pearl. And that's the pearl. So anyway, one of the things was to come here and look for the pearl. Well, I found it. And the pearl is seeing the gift in absolutely everything, in each bit of destruction. Oh yeah, granted, you know, we all go through grief. We all go through nonsense, and we dish it out ourselves. We're pretty cruel in our thoughts and feelings, and these billions of different ways. That's why I had to put that post up this morning. There's billions, and all we're trying to get you all to do is simply just be who you are. Be who you are, and write that up on your mirror, on your lipstick wall. Be who you are. Simply be who you are, and put the middle finger up and go to the rest of them, because they're not being who they are. And my passion too, guys, is teaching at this, and it changes day by day. My empathy and my love goes out to men and women my age at the moment about narcissistic children.
Yeah.
You know, and narcissistic children are narcissistical is because they've been targeted. And this is a legacy that's been left on our children here right now. So, and I have to go through remembrance and why and how my children went awry. And that is because I had a brain injury and their stepfather looked after them. And now I understand why. Because they were manipulated. They were controlled. And now I have this loving spirit and understanding that's what's happened. And I had to do this. Well, this is what we need to do. And every day is a learning for no matter who you are. And you could be the most amazing superpower person. And yet, boom, we still have things. And then when you clear you, and this is the good thing, when you start clearing you, you're not only clearing for you, you're clearing the whole generational. And you're also clearing for the next person. So when I am helping someone by just being who I am, they're actually, if it's a drug addict, prostitution, criminal minds, whatever, it's that osmosis effect that whoever they touch, they're healed to. And that is the quantum field. That is science. That is how things should be. And then we have our nationality, where we have identity. Whether we're pink, blue, green, brown, black, doesn't matter. It's still the same. If everyone had their DNA taken, you know, I could be Chinese, more Chinese than my husband had. I've got my kit there. Actually, I've got my done, and that was, you know. But my husband's supposed to be German. No, he's not. He's more English and Anglo-Saxon. No German blood in there. Am I making sense? So we need to understand that we're taking on traditions. We're taking in those traditions, the religion of that time. Because here in Tawamanui, they've got a photo of Jesus and he's Maori. And so now there's the wars of who's right and who's wrong. Maybe it was a good thing that I did call the dude Gary. Am I making sense? So you're not only fighting, you should see behind her, well, she's got all these yummy colours. You're not only fighting internally how to fit into this world, you're actually fighting, you're a product of those generations. And that's where you've got to cut, just keep cutting, foot bars, understanding that you are not nutty, you're absolutely normal. And hey, congratulations, brave people. You are doing more than what any other person's doing. Everyone else is playing a game because they feel that they need to belong to a guru or this teacher or this one. But ultimately, at the end of the day, all you're doing, it's who you are. Turn up, clean up, shape up, ship out. And that's what it's all about. And that's the superpower. And that's what we are returning. We are returning to self. We're returning to who we are. So yeah, like I know that I've got a legacy. I mean, my father was this incredible person. And then ultimately at the end of the day, no, he had his turn. Seriously, he had his turn. This is my turn. My time. My time. He had his turn. Or, you know, her heritage or something. No, they had their turn. Bugger off. This is my turn. Am I making sense?
Mm-hmm.
But when I say that, people say that I'm too brutal in my postings. I'm not brutal. It's very loving, in fact. And I just write away and I go, yeah, okay. Because no one speaks the truth. And that's my truth. That's my opinion. Because I'm not here to love and light everything. Because there's a lot of love and light everything that's not in balance to who I am. So therefore, I'm quite easy. My superpower, I can become anything that I want to in that moment, in that time. If I'm supposed to be there helping someone who's in transition, cool, I'll put on that cap. If I'm there there are things that I know that I can't do, and one of them, I've always wanted to do card readings. I just can't do it. So someone else does it. So that's not my gift, but this is my gift because I love blood and guts. I love taking my hand and going into bodies and walking through them. But I know that I can't do card readings, and I know that I can't do crystals. Not my forte. You know, crystals have an effect on me. All I want to do is put them back into the earth because that's where they should belong. Chakras I don't know about. I'd rather go up to, if we talk about dimensions, like everyone's speaking about the 3rd, 4th and 5th, hey, let me go to the 678th dimension because that's my superpower. Let me do that. But knowing that this is where people believe that they're stuck in, let's get rid of those unkind lies. Let's get rid of hoodwinks. I call it hoodwinks, trickery, because it's kept you small far too long. Like far, far too long. And it feels like I've got someone here, but anyway, far too long. And so what we do is we just smashing mirrors and to release yourself into becoming the beauty that you're supposed to be. And it's trusting yourself. Okay, so you're at that point where you know you've got the gift. How do you get over that?
It's like you said, it's trusting myself. It's having that confidence back again. When I was there, I had so much confidence and I knew what I was doing and I trusted my gut and what I was doing. But the portrayal of other people's thoughts and feelings, and I think the one thing that really did hurt me was, I'm going to get emotional here, was to say that I was the assistant. That hurt me. That knocked me back for a 6. It really did.
Oh,
Getting over that sort of shit is really hurtful. And that's why I've hidden myself away.
I know, sweetie.
Mm.
And this is why I want to give you, you've got to give yourself permission to go through that grief. It's grief.
Mm.
Too many people dismiss that grief out of their system and go into that and cry. Why me? Why did this happen? Why am I like this? This is unfair.
Mm.
But I'm not talking about, honey, the best counselor is yourself. The best, there's so many healers, so many counselors, so many coaches, and 90% of them are fucked up. Now, I'm not being disrespectful. They leave an imprint on their victims. And that's something, when I began this journey, that I was going to resolve. And, you know, I know that you have been into counselling. I know that you've been having to go and prove who you are to the courts.
Mm.
The system is completely fucked up.
Yep.
So now you've got these, you can do a coaching or a paper online to be a psychiatric blah blah whatever, and these people's lives aren't cleared up and cleaned up, and that saddens me because everything's energetic. So when someone vulnerable comes to you, that has been transferred over to them. If they've just had a puff of marijuana in their lunch break and they're working with addiction, or this, and oh, it's become a crazy world. So I want everybody to, in this moment, guys, grieve, cry if you need to. Understand that, yes, there are things that you need in this moment, and do it and take it. Have a good stiff brandy. Have a good stiff steak. Listen to what the body needs. She's laughing at me.
I just realised.
Have a good stiff cigarette. Have something, because we're not supposed to eat tomatoes at the moment. That's the new fad. And here's me growing my 100 tomatoes. And I'm looking at my tomatoes and going, oh, sweeties, apparently I'm not supposed to grow you because you put fat on people.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a new fad. But anyway, we're in this world where stiff brandy, good wine, good talk, but find someone who isn't going to, oh, my postings are going crazy, who isn't going to belittle you and betray you. Find someone who's going to be compassionate and listen, and that have healed themselves from it. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Guys, that was my hour. I think I'm going to have to extend, everybody, because it was just a first trial. So I've got the other group now at midday.
Yes.
So I want talk to each other after. Maybe we should do that. It's the way it's supposed to be. Am I making sense? So go on Facebook and talk to one another. Have a drink of coffee or
Green ginger wine.
cognac. Or I'm married to a German. I've got cognac and, oh, well, you know what I've got.
Glenfiddich.
Martinis, and also, no, I won't have any.
Oh, no, Glenfiddich will do me at the moment.
So I love you, and thank you for being here, you too. So I'll put, once this is up, I'll post it again. I just go out and make this world a great place for yourselves.
Thank you.
Kiss the palms of your hand, look at each other, kiss one another, and start tapping. Start tapping your arms, start tapping your freckles, start tapping your face, start tapping your legs, start tapping, start tapping. Start clearing, start opening up who you are, because it comes from within, without. And when you're doing, you're an energy healer, some are an energy reader. So, receive, give out, be that conduit, and it's so exciting. Love you.
Love you.
Have a good talk.
Bye, Amber.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Heather.